This is RTV6 News at 7, working for you.
Good evening. I'm Amanda Starantino. Tonight, RTV6 is working to get a resolution for a family who says their home is about to literally fall out from under them. RTV6's Megan Sanctorum spoke to a frustrated mother who says she's done everything she can. Now she's turning to RTV6 for help.
The wood has rotted out and the concrete is cracked. This is Jacqueline Hunt's third-floor balcony at Mariners Village Apartments. She called RTV6 asking for help, saying she's been asking management to fix this ever since she moved in 6 months ago. So far, nothing has been done. She tells us this balcony is in such bad shape, she won't go out on it or even let her 11-year-old son near it.
We are not walking out there. If we walk out there and that falls, someone in my family will die.
Turns out this isn't the first issue she's had at this apartment complex. She tells us earlier this year, her toilet stopped working and wasn't repaired for days. She said she had to get the health department involved. RTV6 obtained records from the Marion County Public Health Department. There are 2 pages of current housing violations against Mariner Village. Those violations include things like mold and damaged flooring.
It's a tragedy that people are made to live this way when all you want to do is protect your family and be safe.
After we reached out to the health department about the balcony, a spokesperson told us they issued a notice to the apartment complex, giving them 30 days to fix it. When we stopped in the office, a woman working declined to comment and gave us a corporate phone number to call. A message left there has not yet been returned. Working for you, Megan Sanctorum, RTV6.
Thanks, Megan. And if there's a problem that's affecting your quality of life and you have nowhere else to turn, you can turn to RTV6. Connect with us at workingforyou at RTV6.com, and we'll see what we can do to help. We are looking ahead at a bit of chilly fall night, so we want to get over to Storm Team 6 Chief Meteorologist Kevin Gregory for your evening forecast. Kevin.
And part of that recipe for some patchy frost in the morning will be the sky clearing, and you could see that there on our Weather Now camera. Go back to that in a second. 58 in Muncie. These are not current temperatures. These were our high temperatures today. Quite a change. We had the rain yesterday, the wind and cooler temperatures today. We've dropped off a little bit, 4 degrees here in the last hour in Indianapolis. 54 in Gary, 59 in Evansville, everywhere in between. Low to mid-50s. There's the clearing line, this bank of clouds, more sustained to the north and northeast of Indianapolis, and just a little glow left from the setting sun. The wind calming down a little bit. The biggest thing that will do is take away some of the gusty nature of the wind. We've had gusts to 37 miles per hour in West Lafayette. It's west-southwest at 11 miles per hour right now. Between now and 11 o'clock tonight, we'll drop into the mid-40s in some locations, around 48 in Indianapolis. These are the temperatures we wake up to in the morning, generally upper 30s. Sunshine will start to bounce those temperatures back. We'll talk about tomorrow coming up.
$30 million and counting. That's what Ambrose Property Group says the city of Indianapolis owes it after the city threatened eminent domain over property on the near west side. In late September, Ambrose Property Group announced plans to sell the old GM stamping plant property, which it had previously agreed with the city to develop into apartments, restaurants, and retail. Within a week, the city said it was using eminent domain to take control of the property, saying it had to, quote, ensure necessary development. Today, Ambrose Property Group says it is trying to hold the city legally accountable for what it calls slanderous statements, saying the city has defamed and disparaged Ambrose and its ability as a developer. We will have that full statement up on the IndyChannel.com for you. A flu death in central Indiana is calling attention to the deadly risks the illness carries and serves as a stark reminder to get vaccinated. The health department is not saying much about this first flu death of the season, only that it happened in Marion County. Leaders say anyone over the age of 6 should get a flu shot. We found a flu shot clinic today, one of many across the county this season. Pharmacy workers with IU Health say these clinics offer patients a huge advantage.
We are able to come on site and provide it because most of the people work during the day and they can't make it to their physician office to get their vaccination, or they don't have to go wait at CVS because we're here on site to provide it for them.
There are flu shot clinics going on across the county. You can find more information on those in this story on the RTV6 app and the IndyChannel.com. Today, the guidance counselor who was fired by a local Catholic high school over her same-sex marriage filed a lawsuit in federal court. Last year, Shelley Fitzgerald was fired from Roncalli High School when the Archdiocese of Indianapolis learned she was married to a woman. Now, Fitzgerald's lawyers want to take the case before a jury in federal court. They say the church's decision was wrongful and unlawful discrimination and that the church did not take similar actions against other employees whose behavior contradicts church teaching. Fitzgerald is asking for back pay from the church with interest, plus additional damages that will be determined by a jury. She also wants her legal bills paid. Attorney General Curtis Hill changed his tone from apologetic to defiant over the sexual misconduct allegations against him. That's according to the testimony of two witnesses who spoke today. House Speaker Brian Bosma testified in the second day of the Indiana Supreme Court disciplinary hearing, which is meant to determine if Hill should face any punishment. Hill is accused of groping 4 women at a workplace event in 2018. Bosma said today that after that event, Hill seemed troubled and remorseful. But Bosma says as soon as Hill learned the Indianapolis Star had knowledge of the event, Hill changed his tune and became defensive. RTV6's Matthew McKinney has been at the hearings this week. You can find his full reports right now on the RTV6 app. A former school nurse in southern Indiana has pled guilty to charges that she stole medicine from students at her schools. Back in March, we told you about the arrest of Carol Sanders. She was a nurse with Mitchell Community Schools in Lawrence County. Prosecutors say Sanders admitted to stealing amphetamines, Ritalin, Zyrtec, and other medications from students at Burris Elementary and Hatfield Elementary schools. Sanders' nursing license remains suspended by the state. She pled guilty to theft and neglect of a dependent. Her sentencing is scheduled for next month. Columbus police have made an arrest after a hit and run left a bicyclist dead. Officers say they arrested 27-year-old Eric Michael Winship on suspicion of failure to stop after an accident resulting in death. Police rushed to the area of 11th and Chestnut Streets in Columbus around 11:15 Sunday night after several 911 calls about a crash between a vehicle and a bike. That's where police found 21-year-old Kyla Ortlieb dead. Officers say a GMC Jimmy was found abandoned about a block from the crash site. And now Eric Michael Winship faces preliminary charges related to the hit and run. Investigators are still trying to figure out how a school bus made it deep inside an East Side pawn shop this morning. Thankfully, no one was hurt here. The bus belongs to Indianapolis Public Schools. It was carrying nearly 24 high school students when it crashed into the Cash America building at East 16th and Emerson. All those students were released to their parents, and again, no injuries were reported. Indigo is making some changes to improve the spacing between buses along the Red Line. Beginning next week, Red Line buses will arrive every 10 to 20 minutes during peak weekday hours. When the service first launched, the goal was 5 to 10 minutes during the same time frame. On weekends, expect a bus every 15 to 30 minutes. The Red Line is still free to ride through November 10th. The talk over impeachment reaches a new level. Coming up, the latest as House lawmakers continue their investigation. Plus, the beloved mascot of Butler is hanging up his jersey. Why the process of finding a new bulldog is much more complicated than we thought. This is the news at 7 on RTV6.
Weekdays from 6 to 10 a.m.
This is the news at 7 on RTV6. Right now, former President Jimmy Carter is recovering from another fall in his home. A staffer says President Carter fractured his pelvis in a fall last night. The 94-year-old fell earlier this month as well. He got a black eye and 14 stitches, but still went ahead with the Habitat for Humanity event soon after. He's said to be in good spirits today and is looking forward to recovering at home. Carter is the longest living U.S. president. President Trump taking his criticism of the impeachment inquiry to another level, sparking outrage by equating the process to a lynching. This as his top diplomat to Ukraine sat down with House investigators leading the impeachment probe. ABC's Mona Kosar-Abdi is in Washington tonight.
The president's top allies on Capitol Hill today on the defensive.
When it's about Trump, who cares about the process as long as you get him? So, yeah, this is a lynching in every sense.
Republican lawmakers like Senator Lindsey Graham justifying the president's use of the incendiary term in his tweet, a word that many say elicited racial violence and brutality committed in the U.S. Trump writing of the impeachment probe, quote, all Republicans must remember what they are witnessing here, a lynching, but we will win. Democrats were quick to point out his continued pattern of divisive language.
I represent the 6th Congressional District of South Carolina, and I know the historical context of that term.
But they also claimed the president was purposefully trying to distract from the testimony of a key witness in the impeachment inquiry. U.S. Ambassador to Ukraine Bill Taylor testified for hours before House investigators about his involvement in the Ukraine scandal.
In my 10 short months in Congress, it's not even noon, right? And this is my most disturbing day in Congress so far.
Democrats pressing Taylor on his now public text exchange with the European Union Ambassador Gordon Sondland, in which Taylor wrote, quote, "I think it's crazy to withhold security assistance for help with a political campaign." Ahead of Taylor's deposition, the president distanced himself from both men.
They're interviewing ambassadors who I'd never heard of. I don't know who these people are. I never heard of them.
President Trump just yesterday called on Republicans to form a united front. But just moments ago, Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell, in a rare move, broke from Trump, saying, quote, "Given the history in our country, I would not describe this process as a lynching, but rather an unfair process." Mona Kosar-Abdi, ABC News, Washington.
Coming up, one Midwestern vape shop owner worries the pending flavored vape ban could put him out of business. We talked to him about why he thinks vaping is still a viable option.
And you need to look closely, but look what I found, the shower here. This is Crawfordsville, just to the west of Crawfordsville, a light shower, also southwest of Frankfort. They'll fade away here soon. We'll talk about what returns tomorrow coming up.
That's the benefit of Medicare from Anthem.
This is RTV6 News at 7, working for you.
As more states have been looking to ban flavored e-cigarettes, a ban is on hold right now, one state north of Michigan, but the governor there is vowing the fight is not over. Our Chris Stewart is getting perspective on the impact on businesses.
90% of our products that we sell are flavored. They contain flavors such as apple strawberry or something to that effect.
A ban on flavored e-cigs could be devastating to Ron Pease's business.
Mystery Liquid here in Michigan, probably 70 employees. So that would impact all 70 of those employees.
In September, Michigan's governor announced a ban that went into effect on October 2nd. The move made the state the first to take away flavored e-cigarettes.
It would never be permitted if it was cigarettes, but we're letting these companies target our kids, appeal to our kids, and deceive our children.
The governor's argument is that the flavoring and the product itself attracts youth.
Michigan vape shops sued, and a judge agreed to block the ban.
If the governor is going to say that the reason for the ban is to stop youth, honestly, that's the wrong path, because our target demographic here at Mystery Liquid is 35 to 55.
The judge pointed to the month delay between the governor's announcement and the day the ban went into effect, saying it undercut the state's argument that emergency rules were needed. The judge also pointed to evidence that a ban could push adults to start smoking regular tobacco and cited the damage that it could do to businesses.
So if this moves forward, this ban continues on, I mean, what happens to your business?
At face value, our business, 90% goes away.
But Michigan's governor isn't backing down, vowing to take the case to the Supreme Court, meaning a ruling that lets vape shops sell their flavored e-liquids now does not mean they will continue to be on shelves forever.
You can't take away 90 or 80 to 90% of your gross sales and still support the same business you did before, right? That's just economics 101.
A lot of intense stories are coming out of the severe weather in Texas this week, but a Texas woman gave birth to her baby girl by candlelight in the laundry room of her apartment complex as tornado sirens went off outside. At least one tornado touched down about half a mile away during that time, and there was no electricity in the building when the new mom gave birth. Well, welcome to the world. That's one way to come into the world.
Pretty scary stuff, right? They'll someday sit back and watch the tape of that night. And, you know, they were hosting football. The Cowboys were playing that night, and so it's a worst-case scenario. You get so many people in one spot. For us, we just got rain out of that. Lots of wind now from the weather system. Let's go back to some peak gusts. 36-mile-per-hour gust in Indianapolis. Stronger in portions of northern Indiana, but we're starting to see that calm down a little bit. All of this gray here represents the rain along the east coast and just cloud cover, generally speaking, in this cloud shield with the spin now moving into Ontario, Canada, and will drift from Lake Superior to the north and east. A couple of showers have popped up. We'll get a closer look at this in just east along Interstate 74, and then as you go up I-65. Now we zoom in. It's almost a vision test here, but enough to get the streets wet right over Crawfordsville and along 231, and then back just east of Kingman and 41. That will move into western portions of Montgomery County. And a couple of other light showers northeast of Delphi and just southwest of Frankfort. I don't think those will last too long here this evening, now that we start to calm the atmosphere a little bit and cool things off even more. 51 in Tipton, 56 in Bedford. Temperatures below average today will jump to average tomorrow as temperatures come back up thanks to a southwest wind, but lots more sunshine. We didn't get the sun to peek through until late in the day, really in the southern half of the state, and obviously under that cloud shield, a couple sprinkles now. Southwest wind at 13 in Kokomo, and the wind in Bloomington under 10 miles per hour. That, combined with the clearing skies and the wind relaxing a little bit, will allow these temperatures to get into the upper 30s. I do think some patchy frost in the morning, shouldn't be widespread. Tomorrow, lots of sunshine, carries that temperature at noon to 56. Afternoon high temperature around 64. The wind will gust over 20 miles per hour once again. As you look at temperatures from north to south, not much of a temperature range, but warmer than where we were today by 5, in some cases 10 degrees. Thursday, the clouds will roll back in, maybe a sprinkle, but generally not expecting much in the way of rain. Temperatures back off a little bit. Here's the cloud cover increasing through the afternoon, and that little patch of sprinkles possible as we get into the evening hours. Thursday's temperatures generally cooler to the north and west, warmer to the southeast, but in that tug of war, the cooler temperatures will win out, and that means on Friday you'll notice the difference. Temperatures in the mid-50s, if not a little cooler in a few spots. And you check out your Friday night football forecast, 47 by the time games are coming to an end, so definitely have to take a coat to the ball games. Temperatures as we go to the weekend, a frosty start on Saturday morning. Chance for showers will increase late Saturday, really Saturday night becoming the more likely time. Sunday back to 64 degrees. And beyond the 7-day forecast that you're looking at, indications are we'll finish October on the colder side. That goes into early November.
If Mark was here, he'd be saying, start planning your Halloween costume.
Layer up.
All right, well, we are just 24 hours away from the Pacers opener. You can count on the RTV6 sports team with full coverage. Dave and Brad live at Bankers Life Fieldhouse, starting on the news at 5. At 6, they'll have a look at big changes to the Pacers roster, highlights and a game recap at 11. That's all Wednesday on RTV6. Still ahead, he's ruled as mascot for nearly a decade, but now it's time to hang up his uniform. Why this Butler Bulldog and his handler are retiring, and the added twist that will make recruiting a new dog even more complicated.
Oh, look how much we can save.
This is the news at 7 on RTV6 tonight. Whether you're coming or going, you now have even more options for souvenirs and more at Indianapolis International Airport. We got an early look at the 9 new stores opening at the airport ahead of a ribbon cutting at FAO Schwartz today. This is the first wave of openings as part of the airport's Concessions Refresh program. Airport leaders say a big part of this is maintaining, growing, and improving customer service throughout the concourses.
We're revamping all the concessions. So over the next 3 years, and you'll see changes periodically to the airport. And this is the first phase that we promised to deliver.
In addition to those new businesses, the airport will have some temporary pop-up kiosks if you need anything else. You may remember this past March, it was decided popular burger restaurant Shake Shack will be coming to the airport. No word yet on when it will open. For the past 8 years, Butler Blue 3, or Trip as he is known, has served as the beloved mascot for the Bulldogs. Today we learn this will be his final year. The man who has taken care of Trip and brought him to Butler fans all over the country, Michael Kaltenmark, is also retiring from the job as handler of the school's mascots. Today we got to sit down with Kaltenmark along with the man who will be taking Michael's place as the handler of the next Butler mascot, Evan Krause. Kaltenmark says he's been training Krause to be an excellent handler, and they knew this decision was coming for a while.
For Trip, it was easy, right? He's going to be 8 in December. Average lifespan of the Bulldogs, 8 to 12 years. It's just simple math, right? He's in good health. We want him to go out on good terms as being mascot. So that was easy. For myself, it was a little bit more difficult. But I've been doing this for 15 years, and it was a good time to hang it up.
I can't get over the gnawing sounds he's got going on there. Well, Tripp's handler says they've been working with Butler's veterinarian to identify a new dog to take Tripp's place, but there's yet another complication. They have to find a new bulldog breeder because their previous one has retired also.
You think he buried that bone here somewhere in the studio?
I'm sure he hid it so he can come back and find it.
I will sniff it out between now and 11. 98, 99, 100 spots on Maisie. How about that?
Aww,
you gotta love her.
Maisie.
Temperatures, they're falling into the 40s. Any spotty showers end.
Did you see any slobber anywhere? We could probably just follow the slobber. The bone? No? We'll see you at 11.